Welcome to Wayne County Connection. I'm your host, Michael Sweigart. Wayne County Connection promotes Wayne County as a great place to work, live, and play. We do that by highlighting individuals and agencies that are doing their part to make Wayne County a great place to work, live, and play. And they do that by preserving our past, promoting our present, and building a foundation for our future. But we can't do it alone, and so we ask you to get involved as well. Do your part to make Wayne County a great place to work, live, and play. We can work on these not mutually exclusive but mutually beneficial goals of preserving our past, promoting our present, and building our future by doing those things together. You can find out more about how to do things together by visiting our website at waynet.org/cc. There you'll find information about today's program, past programs, and ways that you can get involved. You'll also find a way to share our program with visitors and viewers that are outside of the county by participating in our streaming or on-demand services. And you can find out how to share those links with people who are not in our Wayne County viewing area, with your friends and relatives out of the area. To promote Wayne County as a great place to work, live, and play, encourage them to come and visit, come and get involved, and do things here in Wayne County. We have some exciting events coming up. In January is always the Meltdown, and so I want to focus on the Richmond Meltdown downtown in January, and hopefully we'll have great weather for that. Great weather involves some cold, but not necessarily a lot of precipitation, so that we can keep the ice sculptures up for a long time. People can get out to enjoy them. There are a lot of other things going on, and you can visit the calendar at Waynet to find out about other events and activities that are going on. And speaking of the calendar at Waynet, we happen to have with us today some very special guests. Our producer, Jane Holman, is the Executive Director of Waynet, and she has with her the Board President, Dakota Collins. Join me in welcoming them to the show. Jane, Dakota, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for having us.
We are really excited to promote Waynet today, and Waynet is more than just a website. It is really an information resource for all things Wayne County. So we're going to find out a little bit about that and about the calendar, which is a way for people to get involved. But first, we want to start by making the connection between our viewers and our guests. So even though you're a producer, a little disclosure there, the producer of the program, people may not know a lot about you, which would be really surprising. Tell our viewers a little bit about Jane Holman.
Well, I've been here a long time. I grew up in Wayne County, a proud Wayne County resident, graduate of Northeastern High School, went away to college, left the community for a little while I was just out of college, and came back to raise my family. So we've been back in the county since 1987. And so happy to promote the county via waynet.org. It just has been doing that for 21 years now. And it's a great opportunity because it's a great place to live, work, and play.
It is. And you said you raised your family here and have been involved doing a lot of community promotion for a long time. Tell us a little bit about, and we don't want to get real deep yet because we want to talk to Dakota for a minute, but tell us a little bit about Waynet. How long has it been around?
Waynet was incorporated in 1997, and that was back before Google, back before Facebook, back before the advent of everyone carrying around a cell phone in their pocket. A lot of changes in 21 years.
Right.
So. And we've kind of moved and changed with
back before banner ads.
Well,
for those people that remember banner ads. So that was very static pages and a lot of text-driven content at the time. Yeah. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about the evolution of Waynet, but first, Dakota, tell us a little bit about you are the president of the board for Waynet, and so tell us a little bit about that and about your other involvement in Wayne County and what you do here.
Absolutely. I'm like Jane. I'm born and raised in Wayne County. I was actually born in Boston, or lived in Boston, just south of Richmond, but came up through the Richmond Community School System. Then I went to Earlham and got involved in politics and government, and then now I'm back working at my alma mater in alumni development. I've been on the board for about 2 years now and just came on as president, and really excited because Waynet is one of those Wayne County institutions that can help citizens and visitors really find their way around. And I know I've learned things about my home because of Waynet, which is really exciting.
Something shows up on the homepage and you're like, wait, I didn't know that.
Exactly, yeah. I thought I knew everything.
It's really interesting to see the rotation of information that comes up on the homepage and how it sometimes highlights hidden gems, hidden treasures in the county.
Yeah.
So you are you're in alumni development. You said at Earlham, and president of the board here. And what do you do specifically with Waynet to help promote as president of the board and to attract new board members and additional interest?
Yeah, well, right now we're really taking a big picture look at Waynet. What need do we fill? How do we interact with community members? How do community members interact with us? And we're looking at our board composition to make sure we're fully reflective of that community while still being good stewards of our sponsoring members. So right now we're in a really exciting period of transition where we're trying some new things, we're getting some new people on board, and we're still maintaining that institutional knowledge on the board to know what has been tried and what stands true. And so I just think it's a really exciting time for Waynet.
That's kind of interesting because on the way over here I was thinking about a different way to package Wayne County Connection. I thought of the kind of tagline that I used in the introduction, preserving the past, promoting the present, and building a foundation for the future.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like that's exactly where Waynet is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way I see Waynet, it's kind of the concierge for Wayne County. Anything you want to know about Wayne County, whether it's current events or the history or where the community is going, the current news, you can find it on Waynet. And Jane does such an amazing job. Jane is Waynet for us. She's been working with it for so long, and she knows the ins and outs, not only of the website and the organization, but of the community. She's an invaluable asset to us, and I just want to thank Jane for all of your work.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, and I know what you do to produce and promote the program here as well. Waynet is primarily a website. I mean, this is exactly what it is. And there's a lot of different types of websites that are out there, and Waynet kind of fills a little bit, has a feet in each of those areas as far as you develop content to promote events and activities or institutions in Wayne County, but you also provide social interaction for people to be able to interact with each other through Waynet by way of sharing calendar events and activities that are going on and so forth. And also you direct people to other spaces for content.
Yes.
So you're kind of like in the middle, like a broker and also a provider.
People really don't know what to call us. I think technically we're a community network, but that's kind of an old-fashioned term. Nobody uses that anymore, but it serves our purpose. It's what we do. We network the community together. Our tagline we've always used is one click to all things local. So basically we want people to know if they want to know something about the community, they can come to Waynet. You know, they can come there, they can find what's going on, they can find out where to turn on their utilities, they can find out where they can find a local vet, they can find out who their government representative is, where their schools are located, where their libraries are located, all the things you need to be a good citizen.
If you don't know where to start at Waynet and then get out from there, right?
Exactly.
And you did mention you link to all of the incorporated government agencies, city, township, whatever, the county, and so forth. You also have links to state and federal representatives from your website, so ways to get involved with government.
If you want to find out who your representative is, there's a link there. If you don't know what district you're in, there's a link to find out what district you're in. So we say if we don't know it, we can probably get you to where the people that do know it. Right.
And you have those links to the city and town councils and other government agencies there, but it's not just about government. There's also employers.
Yes.
You link to not only various businesses in the community, but also you link to job search agencies and so forth. Specifically, we link to our members' website pages, so they can go directly to any of our members that if they have a website page for employment on their site, they can go directly there. So that's an advantage of membership. It is an advantage of membership, and we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later in the program, because there is a way for you, our viewers, to get involved with Waynet. Then you have the calendar. Yes. And calendar's big, and calendar was actually one of the first ways that I interacted with Waynet. I was looking for something to do on a weekend a long time ago, way back in well, actually, in the last century, to be honest with you. I'm an old man. And So I went to Waynet Calendar and I started finding these recurring events that were on there and some special events that were going on. So the calendar is a way for people to find out what's going on in Wayne County, whether it be promoted by an individual business or a not-for-profit or just a special event or maybe a fair or what have you.
Exactly.
All of these things. Tell us a little bit about the calendar itself and that type of interaction. Then we'll get into some of the other aspects. But.
Well, this is so exciting because by the time this show airs, we will have launched new calendar software. Our old calendar software has served us very well, but it's been in place for probably 20 years, and it's getting a little long in the tooth. And we're so excited about this new software because it's very visual. I think people are going to like it. The organizations that are promoting events can include a picture with their events so people can see in a glance where that event is located on the calendar. There are ways to share the calendar. There's also, I think it's up on the screen now, you can look at it. And if you don't like the way it looks, there are 4 different methods for changing the layout. So if you prefer a different layout, you can change that. I will say, a small caveat, there's a small bug with the month view layout right now, okay. And they have a new beta that works just great, except it didn't have a couple of features we really needed. And so we hope to have that launched in the first quarter of 2019. Okay. So hopefully that'll take care of itself. Just so people know, it does work. The month view does work. It's just, click it, go get a cup of coffee, come back. It takes about a minute for it to load,
oh, no.
Which is painful in this day and age.
Oh,
very,
yes.
very painful, and I apologize, but we think you're going to like it well enough that it's going to make up for itself.
So the old calendar, for people who may not have visited, and shame on you for not doing so, but it was really link-driven. You saw a text that then would allow you to link to a more descriptive event page for it, but it was all text driven.
Exactly.
And it would allow the submitter to give a description of the event and the dates and the times and if there were admission fees, whatever those would be, so people could be informed. But this one adds graphics.
It adds graphics.
For us visual people, which is almost all of us, we like seeing things.
It can be sorted via categories. It can be sorted by tags. So if it's a category of arts and culture, you can sort all your arts and culture events. If it's tagged for children, or tagged everybody, or tagged adults only. If you have a nighttime event, maybe where there's alcohol involved, you can look for one of those. There's just so many various opportunities that it affords. It's really exciting.
That sounds really great. So if you're looking for a particular, like when's the next symphony show in the calendar, or maybe the next musical event, because that's your activity. And we know that there are a lot of musical events going on in Wayne County. We have a rich heritage in music with the Gannettes and the history of recorded jazz in Wayne County. But we have a really vibrant music community now, and it's not just the organized musical community like the symphony, but there are a lot of individuals and small groups that are playing a lot of great music in a lot of great venues. Some of the agencies, some of the restaurants downtown have in Richmond, and some of the communities out in I'm thinking of Hagerstown has a rich music community as well.
And we welcome them to put it on there. I need to let people know that if they don't let me know, if they don't submit their event, it may not show up on the calendar, and it's not because we don't like you, but because we don't know about it. So please tell us.
Right. So how would an individual or an agency, if they have an event they want to promote, how do they get it on Waynet's calendar?
What they have to do is they navigate to the calendar at waynet.org/calendar. Very simple. And on the right-hand side of the page, up towards the top, I think we have it up on the screen now. You can see there's an area where it says Submit Event. You click on that, it pulls up a form, you fill out the form, you submit it. It does go into a queue for my approval, so we make sure that everything's filled out correctly. We do have a policy in place. There's a policy link at the top of the page. You can see it. Basically, it is the event has to be open to the public, and it has to be within Wayne County or one of the counties that touch Wayne County. So if there's an event that you know of that's happening in Connersville or New Paris or something, and you think it's something the community would enjoy, that can be added as well. And that's it. That's all it takes. Please allow, sometimes it'll get approved within an hour. If I'm sitting at my desk and I see it come in, if I'm out of the office, it can take up to 3 days. So please allow some extra time. And quite frankly, the earlier the better, because there are a lot of community organizations that use our calendar to plan their events. So if you get your event on the calendar, then they hopefully won't stack an event on top of another event. So other agencies are using it for planning purposes.
And if you've got an event and you're not sure about when you want to plan it and you don't want to conflict with other events that are going on, you can go to Waynet and graphically see, oh, there's a lot of stuff going on that weekend. Maybe we ought to think about that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or if it's something where you're looking for a lot of out-of-town visitors and you look and there's a lot of stuff going on that might be drawing out-of-town visitors, it might be a good time to kind of slide your event in there and say, you know, here's something you can also do and cooperate with those other agencies that are developing or promoting activities as well.
Yeah. And then the other nice thing about the calendar, just one more plug.
No, let's keep going.
I'm so excited. Can you tell I'm excited about this new software? It also offers the opportunity, when you see an event on the calendar that you like, you click on it, and it brings up more detail, just like the old one did, but more detail, and hopefully with a picture, if they've submitted a picture. But up at the top of that individual detail, there's a way you can click on a little heart, and so next time you come back to the calendar, it'll show you your favorites. You can sort it that way. You can click on a share this, which there's then a myriad of different ways you can share it via social media, email, etc. And you can subscribe to that specific event. So if you have an Apple Calendar, a Google Calendar, or an Outlook Calendar, you can subscribe to that specific event, and it'll show up in your own calendar then. So it's just so many exciting ways.
That's really exciting because it does allow that additional level of interaction.
Right.
You mentioned submitting, and you also mentioned memberships earlier. And so I want to ask specifically, do you have to be a member of Waynet in order to submit a calendar activity?
You do not. You do not have to be a member. We encourage membership. We haven't talked about why, but we do encourage membership, and we appreciate our members, and it's critical for us to have members, but you do not have to be a member to submit an event to the calendar.
Okay, so if you're not a member yet, you can still submit an event to the calendar, but membership is critical, and we talk about that a little bit. Membership is something that it's a way to show your particular involvement and support for the agency or the group that you're promoting. And Dakota is a member at a deep level here by being president of the board and submitting time, effort, and so forth to the board. But community members can be, community citizens can also be members of Waynet. And there's a couple of different ways that you can be a member. And they have different levels of benefit, as it were, to that. And we can't get into some of the specifics of membership, but we can talk about what membership is and why it's important. So can we talk about a little bit of the benefits of those, why it's important to the community members and also why it's important to Waynet?
Sure. It's critical for us because a lot of people think my office is located in the Richmond City building. And so, it's Waynet's free to visit. You know, it's free out there. So people kind of assume that we're a government agency. We are not. We are totally supported by our members. So if we don't have members, we don't have Waynet. It goes away. So we have 5 different levels of membership, and they get various benefits with each different level. There's details of that on our website if they want to visit that. And so it helps the member, it helps us, and it helps the community.
We talked a little bit about, earlier you mentioned that a business, if a business is a member, then you also put, one of their benefits is they get an additional link from the employment page. You also have a business listing, and the business listing includes people that are not members as well. But the link would then direct visitors to the website.
They don't have a link if they're not a member.
Right, right.
or unless if they're outside of Wayne County. But the board has been very specific with me if they are within Wayne County and they are not to have a link. It's one of the ways we have to support ourselves.
Right. Right, but that is one of the benefits of being a business member.
Exactly.
Is that additional contact, additional way to drive visitors to your site to find out more information about what you're doing. And it also kind of sends a signal to people who are visiting that, hey, as a business, I'm invested in my local community.
Absolutely.
And that's a big thing. We know that it's a reciprocal agreement between private and public industry, and you are private in that you're sponsored. You are not a government agency. Waynet, although, as you mentioned, is living, the office is living in a government building. That's kind of out of a kindness.
It is. It's very much out of kindness.
It's not out of a sponsorship at all. They had an empty hole, and you got to fill it.
Exactly. That was exactly the case.
Which is still, it's nice.
We're very appreciative.
But it doesn't keep the content being developed. It doesn't keep the promotion of agencies and events in the community. And you mentioned if you're out of the office, it might take a while to get a calendar event approved. You're out of the office because you're visiting Levi Coffin House to take pictures of what's going on there, because you're visiting a mural in Hagerstown, because you're visiting a community event, whether it be a fair or a book club or a business opening in Cambridge City or something, to take pictures, to document that, then to share with people who visit Waynet so that they can find out what's going on local, all things local, and that takes a lot of time.
It does.
It's not just content development. And for any of you who have spent any time in developing a website or maintaining a website, even maintaining a Facebook page, if you want to have content coming up regularly, it takes time, and this is where that time is invested, or where that time comes from. So there's a lot of that going on. But the benefit of that for viewers, for us, is that we have one space, one location to go to get information about what's local and to get directed to more content about what's going on locally.
I think our community is about the perfect size for an organization such as Waynet, because it's not too big that we can still cover most things, and it's not too small in that there's not enough going on. So it's just about perfect to gather everybody together and let them, so we can get everybody in one place and say, okay, this is what you need to know. These are the critical pieces. If you've just moved to town, here's where you go to find your utilities. If you're in town and you want to know what's going on, you go to the community calendar. You know, just about anything like that.
Or what agency might it be good for me to be involved with? Where can I find volunteer activities? Because we know that a lot of people are interested, especially this time of year, but hopefully throughout the year, are interested in volunteering their time and their resources to other agencies. And you have an extensive list of community agencies that accept volunteers as well.
I think there's over 20 listed on there, and this is ongoing, and it's not just a single need. This is ongoing needs and a wide variety of types of volunteers. So whether you're interested in being a docent at one of the museums, if you're interested in helping out at the hospital, or if you're interested in helping children, there's just a wide variety, and you don't have to go knocking on doors and say, do you need me? They're saying, please come.
Yes, and there's a great way to find out, and you can find out who to contact, because one of the barriers to getting involved is not knowing who to contact and not knowing where to start. And with Waynet, here's one space for all things local, and that will get you to all the things, whether it be something to engage your mind, something to engage your body. It's a way to find out about sports events. It's a way to find out about ways to be physically active. I know you connect with the Greenway that goes throughout Wayne County, and the other outdoors types activities. So whether you're an outdoors person, whether you're an indoors person, whatever you're interested in, you can find out how to get involved at Waynet. And we would encourage you to get involved as well to find out more. As we look forward to the future, as you preserve the past, and one of the things about preserving the past, I want to talk about this for a minute, you've taken a lot of pictures.
I have. A lot of pictures.
And there are some beautiful pictures.
Well,
but,
thank you.
So about how many pictures have you taken, and where can we browse those, and how are they sorted?
We store all the pictures. Not 100% of them. A lot of them live on my hard drive. Quite frankly, I'm self-taught, so at the beginning of Waynet, they probably weren't all as good as they were, so they got better as I went along, hopefully. But we use a social media service called Flickr, F-L-I-C-K-R. We have an account there, and you can link to it from our website, obviously. And we have we're nearing 16,000 photos.
16,000.
And they're all sorted into albums, and you can search by date or keyword. So it takes a little time to do that, but we think it's kind of important. So you can go out and find images from way back. You can find current images. You can just go in and put like Depot District in, and you'll get 200, 300, 400 pictures of the Depot District. So.
And Jane will work with you if you want to use one of her images to promote your event on the calendar. She'll work with you to make sure that that happens.
That's right.
Jane Holman, the Executive Director of Waynet, and Dakota Collins, who's the President of the Board of Waynet. I appreciate you coming on the show to talk about Waynet and all things local and how our viewers can get connected to things going on in our community. Thanks for coming today. Wish you happy holidays and great success throughout the coming year.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And the same to you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching, sharing some time with us. And thanks for sharing Waynet and Wayne County Connection with your friends and family, both in our community and outside of our community. I encourage you to get involved. Do your part to make Wayne County a great place to work, live, and play. I'm your host, Michael Sweigart. On behalf of our producer, Jane Holman, our sponsor, the Wayne County Commissioners, WGTV, and all of the great people at Whitewater Community Television, thanks for watching. We'll see you next month.